Hello TL Travelers, and welcome back to the TL Travel YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome to the family. Right now I am recapping our backpacking adventures through South America back in 2014 with photos and videos and a ton of fun stories and tips to share with you. So if you've not already hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do it. What are you waiting for? We've got tons of adventures to share, but today is my favorite adventure, or one of my favorite adventures from the whole trip. I can't wait to tell you how it came about. If you missed the last video where we did a little bit of hitchhiking and developed our squad, if you will, we had just came from Chile and now we are here. It's like I'm living it all over again. Now we're back in El Chalten in Argentina to hike Mount Fitz Roy, the hike that made me a hiker. So I would first like to reiterate that I was not a hiker, not a big outdoorsy person prior to this trip. Well, that's not necessarily true. I'm a jungle, I'm a beach, I'm a rainforest type girl, but when it comes to like wilderness hiking and mountains and snow and things, it just hasn't always, been my forte. So when I saw photos of Mount Fitz Roy, I knew that I wanted to see it in person and, maybe walk to the base of it, get some beautiful photos. I never intended, I knew you could hike it. I never intended to hike it, literally right up until the day before we hiked it. So hitchhiking with our squad prior to this, they had all sort of been talking a little bit about what they wanted to do, where they were headed, what was on their bucket list. And when we all rolled into El Chalten together, we ended up getting the same hotel. All but two of us ended up in the same hotel, and then two of the others went and did some camping. They were traveling with like camping gear and stuff like that, so they kind of went off and did their own thing. But the plan for the day after we arrived was for everybody to get up in the morning and go do this hike, to which I replied, I'm not a hiker. The squad, however, was not accepting that as an answer and ultimately convinced me that it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience and that I need to just give it a go. Worst case scenario, I can turn around, which, in reality is kind of true, but like, this is a big hike. And when I say big, I mean big hike for me. Big hike for a single day hike. The hike itself is listed as about 7 to 9 hours, and you can do it in a couple of different ways. You can hike right from your hotel up to the top and right back down, or you can do what we did, which was to take a van or a shuttle out to a starting point a little bit further out. And then not only are you walking in past, there's a glacier out there, glacier view, you're getting like a bit different scenery. You come through the rivers and all of the valley and everything like that, summit the mountain, and then walk back out the way that you would have come in if you were coming from the town. So you are seeing different scenery the entire way, except for like when you're coming back down the mountain, obviously. So we chose to do it that way, just to like not only shake it up and see different things, but also, that's why we chose to do it that way. So we started our hike early in the morning, and I was wearing, like good amount of layers so I could start the day with a little bit of warmth and then remove some of that as I went and as I got warmer from the hiking and as the sun came up. And that was for sure a savior for me. I know that throughout the course of the hike I ended up in, I was in like full sweater and rain, like windbreaker, that I was just in a t-shirt, and then I was in a t-shirt and a jacket, and just be prepared for that changing weather. But the first 4 hours of our hike were through the valleys and just like enjoying the views. I wouldn't say that it was very strenuous at all, and I'm like, again, not a hiker. I was in good shape by the time that we made it there compared to the shape that I was in at the start of our adventure, because I had been doing so many outdoors activities and hikes and viewpoints and sandboarding and all of that kind of stuff along the way. But yeah, like it was very like minimal up and downs, just sort of cruising and enjoying the views, good chats, all of those types of things. And then we made it to the like juncture point at the base of the mountain. base camp, if you will, where we filled up our water canisters in the river because all of the glacier water and everything there is potable, which is very nice. And then we got to climbing, which was where the struggle for me got real. Over the course of my travels, I've realized that there are two types of people when it comes to hiking, and Derek and I are the opposite when it comes to these two types of people. The first type is where they have no problem climbing up. That's all good, but the going down part is really difficult. That person is Derek, whereas I am the person where like going up is so difficult for me, but then like coming down is just like easy peasy. So the upward struggle was a lot, and going from the base camp to the views at the top was about an hour and a half vertical climb. I have to say, even thinking back on it now, I'm not entirely sure that I would have been able to like get through it just me, but like having that squad there and having Derek there encouraging me to like keep going and knowing that I wasn't alone was really helpful. At one point we saw like a father and his like young child like holding a kid, and then like another kid in his backpack sort of situation coming down, and that really gave me like that extra push to be like, listen, if he can do this, I can do this. And to keep things as short as possible and not to get too dramatic, I made it to the top. The like most dramatic moment for me, for sure, or like the most discouraging and simultaneously encouraging moment, was that like right as we were getting to like the peak, I was trailing behind, and my lovely group that I had been traveling with, Adam, the guy who had let us jump into his van, that sounds super sketchy, he basically was like, you know what, Terry has been such a trooper, how about we let her pass us and she can have like the first glimpse of the view. And I was so excited, so they like let me pass, and I was like so proud of myself, and I got up and up and up and up and up, and then I realized very quickly that in fact it was a blind summit, and we still had like probably another 15 minutes to like go down and go back up. So like that was so disheartening, but we like all had a good laugh about it, and then it really gave me that like extra boost of energy that I needed to finish the hike and like get to where we needed to go so that I could get that big view. And it was 100% worth it. Not only are the views there so spectacular, and like the feeling that you get having completed that hike up to get that view, like it was just so satisfying. And another thing about this view and this spot is that it's not somewhere that you can drive to. There are so many places in the world where people hike in for days. I mean, Machu Picchu is one of them, where people hike in and they put in all of this energy and they get there and it's like this big moment, but then you're surrounded by people who have arrived by bus and have come in from the parking lot and all of these things. Mount Fitz Roy is one where you can't do that. So if you see a picture of someone up there, you know what they've gone through to get there. And I think now, like for me, seeing those photos on Instagram, every time it pops up, I just think like, yes, girl, like, or guy, or whoever, like, you did it, you made it. So yeah, looking back, I'm so glad that I did it. And it ended up being one of the like top things that we did on our South America trip, like overall. And I never would have done it if I didn't have that encouragement and that like group support to like convince me to do it, and then to not only convince me to do it, but to be there with me while I did it. So thank you to my squad, and thank you of course to Derek for like taking me along and having faith in me. And I'm just like still to this day so proud that I accomplished it, so proud that I did it. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, the like going down part was super easy for me. So after we had like enjoyed the views and everything, the walk back just felt like nothing. Just a weight off my shoulders. It was fantastic. We got back to the hotel, enjoyed some drinks, enjoyed, you know, shared some stories, woke up the next morning, my entire body couldn't move, my muscles were so stiff. And I was in pain for days. But it was so worth it. So I would love to know if you have ever done anything like that. If you have, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know like what you pushed yourself to do, and you know, why you're so glad that you did it, or why you're not glad you did it. I don't know. Who knows? Let me know down below. And until I see you guys in my next video when we talk about the top things to do in Patagonia, stay great, stay safe, and I will talk to you then. Bye guys.